Hi guys, welcome back to the Space Age. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the law of ease. And today's video is not a pick a card reading, but sometimes I do have something to channel and share with you guys from higher self. And so today I want to share with you a few things that have come up for me recently that I think will be very, very insightful and helpful at this time for a lot of you guys and anyone coming in. So I just want to start off by saying that sometimes when you're dealing with things, you feel overwhelmed, or you feel like there are so many things that you feel like you need to solve. It's so important to remember that it is not your responsibility to solve those things, if that makes any sense. You can only control what you can control, right? And sometimes, even then, even if there are things you can control, if they are very overwhelming for you, it is important to sit back and come inside yourself and realize that there is a higher being, a higher intelligence, your higher self, God, source, whatever you call it, on this spiritual path, your oversoul, that aspect of you, that aspect that you are not aware of but is omnipresent, omniscient, knows everything that could be happening, only works when you literally take the back seat and say, okay, you drive this car, right? And I feel like I repeat this message often because this is the message that sorry, my cat just jumped. This was the message that was downloaded into me some years ago now. And I've had moments here and there where I've dipped in and out of this feeling and this understanding, and I will explain why in a moment. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're feeling overwhelmed, have a moment to yourself and relinquish the parts that you cannot control, and trust that everything will be taken care of when you relinquish that to your higher self, okay? So the reason why I'm saying this today is because I realized that in this modern day culture where we have all of this social media, all of this knowledge, all of this awareness, sometimes it's really hard to tap into our inner happiness, our inner peace, because we have so much stimulus. And so you can't actually hear your own voice sometimes because we have so many voices coming at us, especially when it comes to like TikTok, for example, and like you're scrolling and you're seeing all this information, a lot of people giving advice. They give advice about, oh, this is how you manifest this. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. And in a way, I'm doing that right now, right? But in this video, I want to encourage you to trust yourself. Trust your inner knowing, because sometimes there comes a point when you might be getting all of the most valid information in the world, but there's a point when you have to turn to your own inner teacher and your own inner understanding, and you won't be able to hear her, hear him, hear whoever is inside, right? You won't be able to hear your higher self and your intuition, and you won't be able to hear that because you will have so many other opinions in there. You'll have so many other ideas and ideologies inside of you that are bouncing around, racing a million miles an hour. But if you get rid of all the distractions, right? And by getting rid of the distractions, I definitely think meditation is great. But when we are overwhelmed by scrolling, constantly being out, doing all kinds of activities that overstimulate us, that is why so many people are wondering, how do I connect with my intuition? When your intuition is always readily available for you. right? And is always speaking to you. But imagine you have 100 voices speaking to you all at once. Can you hear that? Even for me, as a person in the world, if I hear two people speaking at the same time, it's like I can't hear either of them. And so if you're dealing with any issues right now, if you're having any trouble, then it's important to go within yourself, block out the distractions. If something is not serving your life, like for example, for me, scrolling on like one of these scrolling platforms where it's just fast content, for me, I realized that every time I go on one of these things, my quality of life goes down. For some people, it doesn't because they're content creators. They have a positive experience with that. Everyone's life is unique, right? Everyone's experience is unique. But for me, my consistent experience is that scrolling platforms lower my productivity. I do not actually enjoy them. There is like a chemically addictive aspect. There is like a, oh my God, that information is so great. I'm so glad that I know this now. And that's cool. And I appreciate those moments. I love getting knowledge. I'm addicted to like knowledge sinking in a sense, right? But being able to have a personal assessment about where you are in life and what works for you and what doesn't, sometimes we allow ourselves to be distracted from what we really want. And then when we do those things that we really want to do, they feel so good to us. And we're like, why don't I do this all the time? And we allow ourselves to be distracted sometimes. It can happen that we allow ourselves to be distracted unconsciously because we might be afraid because we're so focused on an outcome. But something else that really came in today is it's so important to remember that the outcome is not your responsibility. It's not your jurisdiction. It's not your pay grade. It's not for you, right? That's what I realized today, right? The outcome is not your responsibility. And we are in a world where we are constantly forced to, not forced, but yes, I guess technically forced, but we're constantly having our attention directed at the outcome. We see everyone else's outcome. We are not enjoying the process, but the process is our only responsibility. So it's important to relinquish our fixation on the outcome because there is no way to get around it. There is no way to get around it because that is never your role. So the universe is always going to ask you to relinquish the parts of your life that are not your responsibility. So you can only if you're worried about something, if you're trying to control this aspect or that aspect, it's because you are actually concerning yourself with something that has nothing to do with you. You might be concerning yourself with what you think is a future timeline. We're always in the present moment, by the way, but your higher self has all of the knowing of where your actions lead. So it's important that you focus on what you can do, making yourself happy. And you know what? Yes, it's important. It's good to have affirmations and mindfulness and focus, but when you're doing what you can control, right? Let's say you want to create your business and you love making your scrunchies or something by hand, and you're so fixated on the outcome, you're not able to focus on making those scrunchies, right? So you have to do what is in your power and your ability, and doing what is in your power and your ability and realizing that that is your role and not coming from a place of trying to control what isn't your role, that is going to bring you this ultimate satisfaction, because now you're in the flow of enjoying what you enjoy and letting the universe do what it does, right? And then it will give you information on how to make that thing go further when it's time, right? So Yeah, I just wanted to say that because there isn't a reason to worry. And what happens is when you're actually in that flow and you know what your role is in this pair game that we're doing, where we have to trust our higher selves, God, source. When you do that, you're going to feel so much happier because you're following the vision, and that's the thing that lights you up, right? And you can only be lit up if you're doing it from a place that is in your jurisdiction. And when you do that, what happens? Your thoughts will naturally trend to the positive, right? And those thoughts will inform your actions, right? So I hope that this was helpful. I hope this offered some clarity or guidance especially if you've been worried or anxious about anything in recent times, which I think most people tend to be doing a lot. There's always like something, right? But I hope this is a healthy reminder to you guys. And yeah, I will be posting more content. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.